Hello everyone, how you doing? It's Charlie here. Welcome to the first of the Complete Beginners online course. Basically just devised a way of how I teach, just completely from scratch. I've really sort of fleshed things out, so there's lots of detail. Everything's broken down into different levels, and then each level is broken down into different sessions. We're going to start off right from the start with the obvious question: which guitar do I need to buy, or should I play? So I'm going to go through a few of the main types for you today and just break down a few of the good points, a few of the bad points, and maybe kind of recommend what I reckon you should probably go for. And I start off with this one. Obviously, this is a steel-strung acoustic guitar. It has obviously steel strings, and it's acoustic, meaning that it's hollow-bodied, meaning that you get a nice kind of loud, nice bold sound. You know, they can be quite percussive as well. You get a lot of kick from them. This one has electronics in it, which basically means that I could plug it in if I wanted to. I wouldn't necessarily say that you need to have one of those if you're starting out, but it's always an option for further down the line. So I think as a beginner's guitar, I wouldn't necessarily recommend always getting the steel strung acoustic. I think that you can get some fantastic ones, but you can get some real howlers, mainly because of this action. What action is how far the strings are away from your fret. The further they are away, the harder it is going to be to press down. Okay, so you want to minimize that, and you want to keep it easy to press down, because you want to make it easy to play, because you want to keep coming back to the guitar and keep learning how to play it. So I would say not a bad idea, but you want to probably be spending around £200, and if possible you can go with someone that you know that plays a little bit and try and get their opinion, unless you're going to kind of go out and spend £400 or £500 and be sure that you're getting a really nicely set up instrument, you know, which I would have thought was unlikely if you're a beginner. Then I would possibly think about getting an electric guitar instead, which I'm going to come on to in a minute, or possibly a nylon strung actually. Anyway, those are your steel strung acoustics. If you want to play pop and rock, however, everything I've said, you know, these are the ideal sound for it. But your fingers can suffer because they're steel strings, and if you get a dodgy one, the action's going to be can be a bit sort of dodgy as well. Anyway, that's your steel strung acoustic. All right, so I'm going to move on. Take a look at the world's favourite guitar, the electric guitar. This is of course a Fender Telecaster. This one, your basic electric guitar, has been around for, I don't know, since early 50s. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you want to play rock guitar, get an electric guitar. That's really it, to be honest. There isn't really any other argument there. If you want to play electric guitar, rock guitar, get electric guitar. That's it. Now, the difference tends to be that the action is generally a lot better, i.e. it's closer to the frets, because they're built for playing lead guitar, which is generally a lot more, you have to be a lot more nimble generally, and it's going to require sort of tighter and closer action. So generally they are easy to play, plus the strings will generally be a bit thinner because they're gauged for kind of playing sort of, you know, bending and things like that. So that's worth bearing in mind. Electric guitar wise, brand wise, probably a Yamaha Pacifica off the top of my head is a great guitar to get. They're really versatile, and they just set up nicely, and they play fine, and they plug in well, and they last, and it's great. So a Yamaha Pacifica tends to be pretty good, so I'd possibly go for one of those. Probably around about £200. You don't have to buy an amplifier if you don't want to. You don't need to, because you might not need to make a racket. They're perfectly audible like that. You know, I can hear that fine. For rattling away at home, you know, just when you're starting out, that's no problem. So that's generally everything about electrics, really. You can always get an amp further down the line. They look pretty cool. You know, I think when you're starting out, electric guitar is not a bad place to start. Moving on to the next one, then we're going to move on to the infamous classical guitar. So this is a big old classical guitar which has got nylon strings, so the strings are plastic. The thicker three at the top are actually coated with a metal, but they're still plastic, so they're actually, well, to me they seem a lot softer anyway. So that's worth bearing in mind. Generally, it's, you know, classical guitars kind of a lot you know, reliant on kind of right hand finger style technique to play chords, you know. isn't always the greatest sound. If you want to strum kind of pop and rock, it might not be the kind of sound you're looking for. But the strings are a lot softer. I have to say that some of the cheap kind of 3/4 size classical guitars are, I think, really, really good. I don't think they're amazing by any means, but mainly because of the price. You're looking at, you can pick ones up for £50. Don't take my word, that you could buy some howlers for £50. But for £50, generally, Valencia guitars and Jose Ferrer guitars, for your complete beginner, tend to be really, really good. The only thing is the neck size. On classical guitars, they have a big neck because of this strict kind of classical way of playing that you keep your thumb balanced right on the back of the neck, as you should do really anyway. It keeps you've got the big neck there, so you have to be a little bit wary of that. If you're looking for a guitar for your son, daughter, nephew, niece, whatever, and they're just starting and they're under 10 or 11 years old, get them a 3/4 classical size guitar, no question about it. They cost about £50, Jose Ferrer and Valencia ones, and they've got small necks. The strings are nylon, so the fingers won't get put off by fingers. It's really a no-brainer, honestly. Just get a 3/4 classical size guitar. Try and get a brand that you've kind of maybe heard of, and that's perfect. It's all you need. All right, it's all you need. If you're an adult beginner, I would consider a nylon string, because I just think that the way that the strings work for your fingers can work really well. However, the neck might well put you off. I urge you to try these in the store. Try and avoid buying them online, because you just don't know what you're going to get. Finally, we have the Ibanez. This is an Ibanez, and this is a classical, well, it's a nylon string guitar, but it's got a thinner neck, and I absolutely adore a thinner. I love the sound of nylon. I love the sound of, it's just got a lovely soft sound to it. It isn't the world's greatest guitar. This has seen some heavy use, and it's not a particularly expensive model, but I use it for a lot of things. It's got a thin neck on it, nylon strings, also got a pickup on the top. So I really love that, just to sort of for general playing. However, if you want to play pop and rock, it isn't quite the same as a steel strung acoustic. You're not going to get the sound. It's a very difficult one. It can be a personal thing. I would say if you want to play rock guitar, get an electric. If you want to play generally acoustic music, you are going to need a steel strung. Just be careful that you don't try and get one for 60 quid, because it will probably not sound very nice and it will put you off. Try and think, all right, I'm going to spend maybe 160, 200 pounds on one. Try and get someone to help you try one out, and that, you should be fine. If you want to play classical guitar, get a classical guitar. If you're a kid, or you're looking for a kid who's starting out and they're under about 10 or 12 years old, get them a 3/4 classical. It's a no-brainer, really. It's the way to go. Good guitars actually are a lot easier to come by now. It's very rare that you get an absolute dog of a guitar. They do still exist, but you can get good guitars for kind of 80, 100 pounds. Electric guitar, Yamaha Pacifica. Acoustic guitar, I'll probably spend about 200 quid, maybe sort of 180. Classical guitar, 3/4 size, you need to look at Valencia and Jose Ferrer. For anything with a kind of pickup, I mean, this is an Ibanez. I think it's a really nice guitar for what it does. But, the sky's the limit in a way as to what you can spend. So I hope that's been useful, just some guidance. Do let me know if you've got any specific questions. Everybody's sort of different position is the same. But hopefully some of that advice has helped you out. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.